All that because we'll have rain showers moving through the area throughout the day, gradually clearing as you head toward the nighttime hours. Sunday, a much better day. Sunshine does return, although winds still in the breezy side overall, but this time from the northwesterly direction. Next week looking like a beautiful week overall. Temperatures in the lower to mid 60s, and our mornings back on the cold side in the lower 40s and upper 30s for most of the area, guys. So the cold morning weather is coming back for our area.
Cold and rainy.
Bring on the 70s. I'll not see that in the forecast.
All right, guys, thanks for watching Fox 44 at 5:30. We're back here tonight at 9.
Don't forget, you can get your news, weather, and sports online at prproud.com. Have a great evening.
Now your Storm Tracker team forecast first. Sponsored by Peyton Murphy with Murphy Law Firm.
Well, good evening and a very happy Friday to you. We're heading for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Brian Lashbrook, and the weekend we'll see a range of impacts. Tomorrow we'll see some cloudy skies and some rain, but out the door right now, cloudy skies currently on the cool side in the mid 60s. Overnight tonight, in the next couple hours, we're on the breezy side still with those east winds around 10 miles per hour or so. But overnight tonight, we'll be getting down to only about the mid 50s, but tomorrow that's a chance for rain showers moving through the area. But Sunday, a much better day with sunny skies returning to the area, and then a cool down happens as you go into next week, getting our mornings back on the cold side once again. But I'll have more on that later on to the show. Local 33 News at 6 starts right now.
Coming up, a better connection. Thanks to a grant program, internet is coming to thousands of households in Louisiana. And the deadline will remain. A federal appeals court ruling the Louisiana legislature has exactly 1 month from today to present a new congressional map.
You're watching NBC Local 33 News at 6.
Hey, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on this Friday. I'm Renae Skinner. Now, it's hard to believe, but many households across the state do not have internet. But a new program announced today will change that, ultimately bridging the digital divide. Our NBC Local 33's Whitney Thomas has this report.
So we've been talking about closing the digital divide. We've been talking about having affordable, reliable, high-speed internet.
Governor John Bel Edwards put his words into action. Louisiana is now the first state in the nation to have fully approved affordable high-speed internet statewide.
This means that by 2029, we will have invested about $2.25 billion across Louisiana to end the digital divide.
That total includes investments from the Affordable Connectivity Program, Rescue Plan, and the Gumbo programs. Edwards says the Internet for All initiative will reach over 70,000 addresses across Louisiana, including businesses.
Everyone, Democrats, Republicans, independents, all over the state will benefit from this. This will be life-changing for people throughout our country and specifically throughout the state of Louisiana.
Leaders say they're also utilizing this expansion to invest in the Workforce Commission, using over $20 million to train over 4,000 people through Louisiana's community and technical college system.
A young man from DeRidder originally. He went to the Community and Technical College there in Crowley, Louisiana. He got several certificates, and he's now employed and living his best life. We want this for thousands of people.
All in efforts of moving Louisiana forward. Whitney Thomas, NBC Local 33 News.
Turning now to our crime tracker, a Baton Rouge man wanted for a 2016 murder is now on the 15 most wanted fugitive list. U.S. Marshals are offering up to a $25,000 reward for Lethell White. He's accused of shooting a woman and injuring another. U.S. Marshals say White could still be in the Baton Rouge area or Atlanta. He is considered armed and dangerous. If you know where White is, call this number 1-877-336-0102 or Crime Stoppers at 225-344-7867. All right, Governor John Bel Edwards' term is in its final days. He was the candidate not many believed had a chance, and after 8 years in Louisiana's highest office, he's looking back on the challenges and successes. Capitol reporter Shannon Heck brings us that story.
As Governor John Bel Edwards looks back on his 8 years in office, he's also looking at the changes to come over the next 4 years.
I want Jeff Landry to be successful. I'm a Louisianan. I'm staying here. I'm going to go back into business. I'm going to have grandchildren and so forth.
Landry and Edwards have sparred publicly over the years as their political views can often be vastly different. One area where they differ is on how to handle crime. Landry and some members of the legislature have signaled wanting to undo some of the governor's 2017 criminal justice reform measures.
I think it'd be a terrible mistake.
The Criminal Justice Reform Initiative focused on non-violent offenders to reduce the prison population and better set them up for success when they leave prison. The governor has vetoed a number of bills that would have undone some of that work and speaks against simply increasing the penalties for some crimes.
And instead, what we need to do is have the courage to look at the data, let the data inform our decisions, and make sure that we don't roll back criminal justice reform.
Edwards' tenure also saw public outcry over police brutality with the Alton Sterling shooting, the George Floyd protests, and the harsh scrutiny over his handling of the Ronald Greene police custody death. It has led to a deep investigation into the state police and a number of bills being proposed to create more oversight into police. Looking to the 2023 election season, it was a hard hit for Democrats with none winning statewide office. Edwards has been a power player in the party for years.
I am not satisfied with the situation today.
While he doesn't want to dwell on what went wrong, Edwards says that he chose his role in elections carefully to ensure bipartisanship could live on in Louisiana.
And I don't think that that would have been possible if I had been hyper-partisan and going out and trying to win every possible election and defeat every Republican running.
Edwards has taken flack from his party at times for his anti-abortion policies and moderate approach to other heated topics.
But I always wanted to govern true to who I am, which is somewhere in the middle of the political spectrum.
As the state legislature makes a hard swing to the right with a Republican supermajority, some fear the era of Democrats leading is over, but not Edwards.
People thought I shouldn't run in 2015. They thought the state was so far to the right and so dominated by Republicans that it was not worthwhile for a Democrat to run.
He is resounding in his belief that he won't be the last Democratic governor in the Deep South. As he prepares to pack his bags and head back home to Amite, Louisiana, Edwards hopes people will look back on his time in office as one of growth.
They will be able to say, much better off when he left than when he found it. Critical investments in the most essential priorities were improved substantially, and the results were achieved because of bipartisanship, and that's would be my hope.
He leaves the Capitol with a genuine hope for the ones after him to do well by the people of Louisiana.
God bless you all. God bless the great state of Louisiana. God bless the United States of America, and go Tigers.
For your local election headquarters, I'm Shannon Hecht.
And we do have a programming note to pass along due to the English Premier League soccer game this Sunday on NBC 33. This Week in Louisiana Politics will instead air on Saturday at 6:30. If you miss it, you can also catch it on brproud.com. And a federal appeals court has refused to reconsider its ruling giving the Louisiana legislature until January 15th to enact a new congressional map. A lower court last year found that the state's current political boundaries dilute the power of its black voters. The 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals today denied a request to have a larger set of judges rehear the earlier decision by a 3-judge panel. That panel said if the legislature does not pass a new map by mid-January, then the lower court should conduct a trial and decide on a plan for the 2024 elections. And the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has a draft report on the Amite River and wants to hear from you. The draft report recommends floodproofing or elevating 3,000 homes and 400 non-residential structures within the Amite River Basin. The Corps is planning to host public meetings in January, but written comments on the study are also being accepted now through late January. Log on to brproud.com right now to read that study for yourself. Speaking of rivers, we've got a stream of cars on those roadways, on the highways and byways tonight in Baton Rouge. Brandon, what is happening? I'm seeing a lot of traffic on the Mississippi River Bridge in particular.
Yeah, streaming river is a great way to put it, Renee, because a lot of cars are on those roadways. And so, I mean, they're moving just slowly in most areas. So across the area, we're seeing a lot of congestion on those roadways, especially over the Mississippi River Bridge. Seeing a lot of cars eastbound and westbound over the bridge as well. We had an incident earlier on I-10 westbound at Bluebonnet Boulevard. We had an accident that did close 2 lanes, but as of right now, all lanes are reopened, but congestion is still approaching about City Lane as well. So use caution on those roadways as you see a lot of red on the Waze map from the Port Allen side of the river all the way through the split as well. So again, use caution on those roads tonight. Thankfully, no rain across the area, but look out to the west. Rain with a cold front, that's going to be coming through our area tomorrow to up our rain chances. So I'll go ahead and time that out coming up in the full forecast after this break.
Now, your weather forecast with meteorologist Brandon Lashbrook.
Well, for the first half of today, we woke up to blue skies across the area, and that helped us warm up to temperatures for the afternoon high here in the capital city, hitting 72 degrees just past noon this afternoon. That was right as when clouds were beginning to build in across the area, which is about 8 degrees or so above average for this time of year here in the capital area. But out the door right now, we see cloudy skies, although we lost daylight, of course. We're still on the cool side into about the mid-60s. Winds a little bit on the breezy side, the southeast direction, around 11 miles per hour. So winds will still be breezy tonight and for tomorrow and even to our Sunday. Now, big picture across the area is we see a lot of cloud cover over the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to be associated with an area of low pressure developing in the Gulf, and that's going to be moving off to the north and northeast toward Florida. Out to our west, you see an area of low pressure over Oklahoma and a cold front draped down across East Texas with a lot of showers with it too. That's going to be moving eastward, and that's going to bring us our chance for next rain as we go throughout the day on Saturday tomorrow. So pre-dawn tomorrow morning, you'll like to see that line of showers moving over Louisiana, moving eastward into our area by the morning hours as we go throughout the afternoon and kind of see light to moderate rainfall as this front moves through from west to east. And then we'll begin to see some clearing as we go to about the evening to the nighttime hours. Now, thankfully, no severe weather is expected with this cold front as it moves through. Although I can't rule out a couple of rumbles of thunder as well, but mostly going to be some rain showers moving through the area tomorrow with cool conditions and cloudy skies. Now, here's that area of low pressure in the Gulf of Mexico. That's moving well off into the east of our area, moving towards Florida. That's going to bring them some issues with rainfall and maybe even some severe weather across the Florida peninsula. But we're on that northwesterly side, so notice by Sunday morning still have some clouds over the area, but by the afternoon clouds really move out of here with northwesterly winds at this point, and we'll see some sunshine thankfully return to the area for our Sunday. Now, tonight won't be as cool as previous nights thanks to cloud cover across the area, so we'll be about the lower to mid 50s for most of the area as we begin our Saturday morning. And then because of those clouds and the rain tomorrow will be on the cooler side comparatively to today, only hitting to about the lower to mid 60s for most of the area, and again having those rainy conditions. So if you have any of those plans tomorrow, you'll be out and about, make sure you grab the rain gear, the umbrellas, all that good stuff, because we'll have rain across the area. But Sunday, of course, that's when we'll be clearing out across the area with sunshine returning, but winds will be more on the breezy side once again, around 10 to 20 miles per hour. But this time from the northwesterly direction. But overall, going to be a nice day as dry air filters in across our area, so dew points fall into the 40s. And then another cold front is going to come through by Monday night to our Tuesday. Now, no rain with that front, but what it will do is bring more dry air in place. And notice dew points drop again into about the 30s and 20s, and that's going to help our overnight lows get on the chillier side once again as you head into the new work week, dropping down to the 40s, and by Tuesday and Wednesday mornings back into the mid to upper 30s across the area. So dust off those puffy, warmer jackets for your morning commutes as you get into about the first part of next week. And then you see a slight warming trend as we go throughout the back half of the week. So again, tomorrow, we have a chance for some showers across the area throughout the day, but the new work week shaping up to be a really nice week overall. Temperature is pretty steady to about the lower to mid 60s, kind of warming to the upper 60s by the end of the week, but mornings, once again, back on the chilly side in the 30s and 40s. Now it's time for our forecast, and today we have a bogey right here who is in the festive spirit for sure. So thanks, Marty, for sending that picture in, and if you want to see your pet on our forecast, well, you can find me on social media, or you can email me at blashbrook@brproud.com. Renae.
I have a confession. I still am spring cleaning, so this weekend I have no excuse but to sit at, but you know what? I've got some eggnog at home, so perfect combination, cleaning, eggnog. There we go.
See, that sounds like a beautiful weekend plan right there.
There we go. Thank you, Brandon. All righty, coming up after the break, the latest on the conflict between Israel and Hamas. The fighting continues as the U.S. looks to discuss post-war plans.
Live and Baton Rouge proud. You're watching NBC Local 33 News at 6 with Renae Skinner, Jacob Bradford, meteorologist Brandon Lashbrook, and sports director Brian Holland. NBC Local 33 News.
Well, the U.S. is pushing for changes in Israel's offensive against Hamas as its military forces continued airstrikes and tank shelling today. Washington correspondent Jesse Turner reports on the latest developments in the conflict.
The United States stands with Israel.
President Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, met with the presidents of Israel and Palestine Friday.
We are now in the middle of a high-intensity phase.
In an effort to de-escalate the war between Israel and Hamas.
The terrorists chose to embed themselves among civilians, and that creates an incredible burden on the IDF.
The Israel Defense Forces have continued heavy airstrikes and ground battles in Gaza, with a rising civilian death toll. But Israel's president says the IDF will soon transition to a new phase in the war.
We can see the end of that campaign not far away in the next few weeks.
But Palestine's prime minister wants an immediate ceasefire.
The United States has been calling upon Israel to avoid killing civilians and so on. You cannot avoid killing civilians if you continue the war.
President Joe Biden has not called for a ceasefire, but told Israel Thursday it must be more focused on how to save civilian lives.
Not stop going after Hamas, but be more careful.
Sullivan says he discussed a timeline for scaling back intense combat operations.
One that is focused in more precise ways on targeting the leadership and on intelligence-driven operations.
These leaders agreed the overall fight will take months, though. And the Pentagon says the U.S. will continue to make sure it doesn't turn into a broader conflict in the Middle East.
We're not going anywhere.
That was Jesse Turner reporting. Coming up, homegrown talent. Several college football players from Louisiana want to wear that purple and gold as the Tigers prep for their bowl game. That's next in Go Nation.